all over the field. Week 1, Dallas kept feeding Ezekiel Elliott and Tony Pollard yesterday. The rushing duo combined for 180 yards and 2 touchdowns. Despite not throwing any TDs, Dak Prescott orchestrated an 11-play drive to kick a game-winning field goal as time expired as the Cowboys beat the Chargers 20-17. Shannon, scale of 1 to 10, how impressive were the Cowboys?
That's not a peace sign. That's not a peace sign.
I'm just saying peace out to your opinion.
I just want you to know that's not a peace sign. Two, because it was what the Chargers didn't do, which is finish the deal. They had opportunity after opportunity. You can't have 11 of your 12 penalties come on the offensive side of the football. I get Jerry Cook's taunting got called back, but I'm trying to figure out, Kenneth Allen, that's textbook taunting. You catch a pass, the guy's walking away, you walk up to him and get in his face and start talking. Why? Bro, you already did what you wanted to do. You caught a deep ball on him. Things of that nature.
What did they say? What did Mike Williams say last week? Sure looked like those Tampa receivers were having a lot of fun out there.
And you guys were having a lot. He got a big one called back because of, I think, offensive holding.
Yep, he did.
So he was going to be over 100. He was going to be over 100 yards had it not been for that call. Yeah, let me see what he had. Mike Williams had 7 for 91. He was going to be over 100. Keenan Allen had over 100 on four catches. Skip, you can't 3 false starts, an illegal shift, 3 offensive holding, and 2 taunting, even though Cook's taunting call was called back. You can't do that, Skip. Those are 7 drives. You had 7 drives. Normally you have 11. They didn't even punt. The punting got negated because Dallas ran into the kicker. So really, they didn't even punt. You get 7 drives. All of them reached at the bare minimum the 35-yard line of the Cowboys. If you kick field goals, you get 21 points. You know that wasn't impressive. But I want you to celebrate, enjoy it. It's going to be short-lived.
I am going all the way up on my scale of 1 to 10 to a 9 because I loved my football team yesterday.
What did you love so much?
I loved everything I saw. I loved their spirit. I loved their fight. I loved their confidence.
Coach liked to gag it off. What about that one?
I've told you since camp, we will win in spite of our coach and our general manager / owner and operator.
Yeah.
And remember, my team was up against it the way no team was up against it last week because every time I looked at my phone, we lost another player to injury or to COVID or to suspension. And 4 of those starters were gone from the defense, including both of the bookend pass rushers. And you, early in the week, you should have listened to yourself because you said you guys will probably win that game. And then after you heard of this whole spate of lost players, you flipped completely around and said you guys are going to get wiped out by the great Justin Herbert, who had just gone to Washington against the team that you love the most in this division. And he had converted 14 of 19 third downs to beat Washington at Washington. So you figured he would throw the biggest party at SoFi Stadium on my team because my team is suspect at best on defense, and now you've taken 4 starters away. And guess what? He managed to score a grand total of 17 points on my defense because Trevon Diggs is going to be a Pro Bowl player at corner, and he came up with a great interception in the first quarter. If we could see this sends a message to his team. We got this because we got Trevon. This is a big-time break. It's a big-time break and a big-time catch.
What we call jet the route.
Yep. And he snagged it and held on to it. That was about the catch of the day in the game. I'm not sure there's a better catch than this one. And then as it looked like Justin Herbert was about to drive a nail right into our coffin, they got it inside the red zone, and my little man Kazee, who keeps coming up big, he's got contagious turnover all about him, and here it is.
Your guy tripped him. Your guy tripped him. I'm just looking at it now. I thought he slipped. Your guy tripped him.
No, he did not.
Skip, watch him. Your guy tripped him.
Well, it was inadvertent.
I don't inadvertent. Oh, now it's inadvertent. You went from saying he did trip him. Now it's inadvertent.
I think he just tripped over the goal line.
No, he tripped over your guy tripped him.
Well, he didn't even look back. He didn't even know. Okay? Well, Kazee was Johnny on the spot. Kazee was a safety last year for the worst pass defense in the history of pro football for the Atlanta Falcons. And now he's rising and shining with a rebirth for my Dallas Cowboys. Right. And what did I predict to you on Friday? I said 2 things have to happen Sunday at SoFi Stadium. I said, number 1, we have to balance up. We have to go 50-50 run pass. And I thought you thought that was improbable to the point of impossible. And Dak Prescott, who had thrown 58 passes to only 18 runs at Tampa Bay, suddenly throws only 27 as my team ran it 31 times for 198 yards. Did you see that coming?
No.
Does that not scare you? Does that not show you once again? I've predicted this team will win the NFC East by 2 games, and I think you saw it on full display yesterday. We get turnovers on defense. We can run the ball like crazy on offense. And finally, we got the formula right, because I'm going to give you the stat again. Under Dak Prescott, with him as the starter, when we have run the ball more than we have passed the ball, we are 25-0. And didn't that win yesterday feel like some of those rookie year?
Yeah, I was about to say that was early in his career.
Right? Didn't it look like a Dak Zeke game when they won at Lambeau or at Pittsburgh or even at Washington against Kirk Cousins that rookie year? That game resembled that. It had that kind of feeling to me. And we were up against it on defense, but to your credit, you predicted going into the draft, Micah Parsons, the best defensive player on the board. I thought it was Patrick Surtain only because I was need-based, and I think Patrick Surtain is going to make a whole bunch of Pro Bowls for your Denver Broncos. And
made a big play yesterday.
He made another big play. He's playing at a high level because that's who he is, that's who his dad was, and he is a chip off that block. So I thought, I'll take the 2 Bama corners as my 2 bookends, and I'll be off to the races. Well, Micah fell into our laps, maybe straight out of heaven, because yesterday he saved the day because I predicted on Friday, please put his hand in the dirt. Line him up as a defensive lineman, as a pure pass rusher. And that's pretty much what they did all day. And I thought he caused big problems.
You did.
For them.
And Skip, that's what you do. We call the right tackle, we will refer to him as a fish. And the one thing you don't want to let the fish do is off the hook. So don't let it, you take him to the market. And that's what Micah Parsons did. Every pass rush chance he got, he speed rushed him up the field one time. The next thing you know, he go inside. And then he bullied. And so he just like, I ain't fooling with Slade over there. Slade is for real.
He's for real.
Let me come back over here and put it on you, bro. He's like, can I get some help?
I saw a little bit. Dare I say, I saw a little Von Miller going on. Just a little bit, because he's got a little Gumby in him. He can bend it off the edge, and he obviously got a burst, and he has some natural strength to him. So when you least expect it, he can just knock you on your butt.
Skip, when I watch this kid play, the thing that you look for in a defensive player, especially can he close? You see the way he closed on Herbert on that sack. You watch the way he closed on a running back. You say, okay, man, he about to get some. And next thing you know, you see him close. That's what you look for in a defensive player. Can he close? This kid has tremendous closing speed. Yes, he can play off the ball at linebacker, but there have been very few guys that, they go from middle backer, which he is, and they say, you know what, today, we're not going to let you play the middle. We want you to be a rush in and to be able to have that kind of ability. This kid is special. I thought he was special, and I'm like, if he could just give you half of what he gave Penn State that year, his junior year, you got something special.
Okay, so let's quickly look at the 2 calls in question because they came
sophomore year.
Sophomore year. First and goal play, if we could see the one to Jared Cook, in which they called illegal shift. Very interesting. And it was a touchdown play. I lost my mind because I thought it was a touchdown, but if we could see it quickly.
Bro, first of all, Skip, he don't even get set. Bro,
You mean Jared Cook did?
No!
I think they called it on Jared Cook. I do. I think the illegal shift was Jared Cook.
Skip, look at this. He don't even get.
That's what I said.
He don't even get said.
Okay, he did not get
That's your money. Okay. You messing up your money.
That's it. Jared Cook, who has been a Cowboy killer his whole career, but he's been on 6 different teams, maybe because of what you just pointed out.
Skip, here's a guy. I mean, you look at it. I think he has 3 games. He's one of the few tight ends that have 3 games of at least 170 receiving yards in a game. So that lets you know he has ability. Skip, you're talking about a guy 6'6", 265, can run, huge catch radius, run after the catch. You're like, why are you been on Green Bay and the Rams and this and the Saints and over here and over? Why? Oh,
Okay,
that's
and
why.
last quick thing, we need to see the play in question, the Micah play, because I will give you this. This was a bad call.
Yeah, I didn't know. He
On
wasn't in
Justin
the grass.
Herbert, this was no in the grass. And yet I don't think it changed the game. I don't think it can. Again, he got rid of the ball. He was not down. He was not in the grasp. Nope. No.
Had that been called in the Super Bowl, Tom, than that.
That is true. No, they did. Yet I don't want to hear. I saw Jerry Jones trended last night late on Twitter where people were saying, oh, Jerry paid off the refs, which is always the case. Well, how did he pay off the refs last year at SoFi Stadium when, remember, the opening night?
Right.
Gallup gets called for a push-off on Jalen Ramsey, and I'm saying, what are you doing? That's a terrible call that cost us at least a tie going to overtime.
No, Skip. Those penalties that they got yesterday, they earned them.
Well,
if you go look at Jerry Cook, he held a guy. You go look at the offensive lineman. He's holding. The guy, they false start. I mean, what do you want the ref to do?
No,
man, I can't call that. People gonna think I'm showing favoritism.
Ezekiel Elliott
They're committing the fouls.
For years, I've thought the refs were out to get Jerry Jones because the league's out to get him because they don't like
Jerry
it.
Jones.
Okay, guys, listen here. Did Jalen Hurts and the Eagles let a win against the Niners slip away?
No.
You say no over there? We'll discuss next.
No mercy.